So currently I'm based in a lovely little 2-bed flat in Reading. My studio space, I will show you, is currently a lovely tarpaulin little kingdom. I have set up in a cubby hole that we have in the flat. Luckily, we have these kind of extra spaces. They're still not as big a studio, but it's the closest I'm going to get at this point. So I've just used command hooks and all the tarpaulin I could find and a little bit of praying, and we have a studio. It's been interesting because just before lockdown, I decided to go big scale. So I'm working on paintings that are 150 centimetres by 100, and they're quite large. I'm just a bit taller than them. So trying to maneuver them around and then trying to work with them has been quite difficult, but we power through, we keep going. So I work in acrylic, but I've also been working with polyfiller to create extra intense textures because I try and do it with acrylic and it doesn't work as well. So with polyfiller, it's a bit more guaranteed. My practice focuses on climate change. So I'll show you some pictures. So what I do is I invert images of landscapes and then I paint them. So they look this kind of really weird dystopian acidic colours as a comment on what's happening to the planet. So this is one of my polyfiller pieces. So it is actually, the picture on the right is how it would look if you looked through it through an app showing you the inversion. Well, as an art historian, I love to look at artist influences. So I even prepared like a little slide with all my influences. So I look at the kind of sublime aspects of nature. So this idea of it being all consuming, and climate change falls into that bracket. It is all consuming and it is something that's really worrying, and to challenge that in art is a really interesting way of facing fear. So I look at a lot of John Martin's work. He does a lot of kind of post-apocalyptic, these really biblical scenes, but it is these massive, intense experiences. And then in terms of colour, I look at Peter Doig, a classic. So he is always about finding colours that are more desirable, which is essentially what inversion does. It finds the more kind of wanted colours because we don't see them every day. They're the colours that are hidden from us. And then I also do a few text pieces, so looking at a bit of Willie Doherty and just employing that throughout. And then all my works are named after Extinction Rebellion posters. So that's what I label all my work as, so it's still got this connection to environment. If it's not initially seen straight away, at least there's a nod to it in the title. Well, luckily I've continued to work during this pandemic. I've managed to keep going with painting and I've managed to keep progressing. I'd say my only takeaway is I'm now taking over the flat. There are paintings everywhere, which also means I don't get that nice little break. So I'll be going into another room and there's a canvas. I'll be going to do the dishes, there's a canvas. And then it starts getting to that point where I'm trying to relax, but where is usually my relaxation space has now become my office space in terms of studio. So I'll be sat on the sofa looking like I could fix that. I could quickly paint over that now. So the separation is hard to create here, but at least I'm still able to work. If you're gonna work on a big scale, make sure you have the facilities to do so. I have tried to fit them in my car many times and they hang halfway out the top, but that's fine. Not the safest thing. And also, like, I think it's good to keep working in the pandemic. Even my housemate, she's been doing more creative things because it's a nice outlet. Although I'm working towards a degree at the end of it, it's still things I enjoy. Like, I enjoy painting, and I'll even do smaller scale stuff to kind of realign things and take me back to what I enjoy.